Welcome back to the Boss Too Hard podcast, where we dive deep into the turbulent waves of entrepreneurship. Today, we are going to be getting into the nitty gritty of moms being really killing it or being killed by it with trying to balance all the things, do all the things when we don't necessarily need to. And so we have my friend and expert on not doing all the things, AnDria Giles of Fuel.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome. Dria, what does Fuel stand for? Because that's a long business name.
It's a long name, and it took me a while to even say it. A friend actually had to say it to me in a way where I could say it back. I was stuck on the name. It wasn't changing, but I had to learn how to say it. It is fun, unique, empowered living. And it's only when you say it with passion does it flow off of the tongue. So it's fun, unique, empowered living. Each word was painfully picked and filtered based on what I wanted a business, a company, anything that I was going to do, it was going to have those elements involved. So I love fun. I love doing new things. I understand the power of doing new things. I'm a Sagittarius, so I'm just always chasing new things. I love new experiences. Helps keep your brain nimble and fresh and young and agile. And then empowered. I love teaching. I love sharing everything that I learn and everything that I do. I try to share it or bring people along in my journey and then living. So once I found all the words, I was like, wait a minute, fuel. And here we are.
Amazing. And I'm so sorry. I'm one of those people that like replays things in my mind. You just told me Giles like Germany, guys.
Yes,
Giles like Germany.
It's like, that's not my name, but my face is there.
You know what?
It matters.
Names are so important.
Yeah, they are. But, if we were in the military, then I'd be like, hey, it's Giles, because that is my first name at that point. But right here, AnDria, as long as you get the Dria part right,
Dria,
we're good.
Okay.
We're good.
Yeah. To me, you're Dria.
Yes.
Like that's
like,
where
I don't even have a last name, so
yeah.
forgiven.
So fun, unique, empowered living.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many aspects of that speak to me. And you came into my life in a season where I needed some fun. For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Too much business, not enough fun equals Mom K.
Yes.
And Mom K.
I got it. Yeah, I'm still in that one.
It's recorded. We won't forget anything. And so Mom K, we're going to get to that.
Uh-huh.
That's just one part of your business.
Yes.
So I know there's so much that you do through Fuel.
Mm-hmm.
And so tell us a little bit about who Fuel is, why you started it, kind of what you guys got going on.
So this little thing of mine started back in 2018, and it had some morph.
This is not little. We are big business energy here. This big thing of yours.
This a big business that I am powering through, chosen very, very intentionally powering through, it has shifted. So initially it was for everybody. I just felt like adults period. We are stuck in this humdrum, recycled, like autopilot loop of boredom, unsatisfactory, not living to our highest potential and just doing the next thing that we know we're supposed to do. You go to work, you get a car, you get a job, you get married, you have kids, and you repeat, and then you wake up and you do all these things that you don't really want to do. You don't go after the things you thought you wanted to do because, now I can't do it because I'm married. Okay, wait, now I can't do it because I have a kid. Okay, wait, now I can't do it because I have a job. All of the excuses, and they are endless. So I wanted to create a company. I didn't know what the hell I was going to do, but it was just going to eliminate the excuses. That was the first wave.
Got it.
So it was adults to create the space for them to do fun activities. Hey, you've always wanted to try this thing. You've always wanted to go this place, but you didn't have friends to go with, or you couldn't coordinate it, or you didn't feel like doing the logistics. I would plan everything. All you had to do was decide to go. Mm-hmm. Now, I know the psychology behind deciding. Once you decide, it opens up all of these possibilities. And that's the hardest part, is giving yourself permission to go and then deciding to do the thing. So that was the first year. We did horseback riding and wakeboarding and rock climbing and went to a rodeo and all these fun, cool things. Then life happened and I became a mother again. So that kind of shifted what Fuel was for. And it was a good 2 or 3 years of, do I still have a business? Do I want to still have a business?
Mhm.
Do people care about what I thought they cared about before? Because now we're in the middle of a pandemic. So things have
Right.
changed now. This is
Everything
smack
changed.
dab 2019, 2020. And now I'm in this mom group and I'm noticing this gap. And I'm like, wait a minute. I think I could do something here. So let me rewind. Back to Fuel. Fuel was just created to remind adults that life is still to be lived, to be experienced, to learn, to grow, to stretch, no matter how old you are, what you've gone through. In the back end of everything that I wanted to create, there was psychology on the background.
Mhm.
There was an understanding of human behavior.
Mhm.
Most people don't want to do things by themselves. It's hard for adults to make friends. So I
Mhm.
was creating this like incubator, you know, bulletproof environment to where
Mhm.
you didn't have to do anything but just show up.
Yeah.
There'll be friends there, there'll be food there, it's already paid for. You just show up and just show up. Through the pandemic, it started to shift towards, it did shift with this specific purpose to serve mothers, because I was like, I was a new mom now. Now I can speak the lingo. It's not like, my kid's, 12 years old. It's not the same journey as a person with a toddler. And seeing women struggle through motherhood in a way that was detrimental to their health, detrimental to their surroundings. They're not knowing who they are, how to be, what to be, and just stress the hell out for no reason. I say for no reason because it doesn't have to be that way.
Mhm.
And
But sometimes those reasons, we tell ourselves those
they
reasons are very
sound
real.
so good and
Yeah.
they make so much sense to our body. They do not make sense. And the weird thing, not the weird thing, the funny thing about psychology and human behavior, the things that we think we're doing that seem to be the right thing to do or counterintuitive to the things that we actually should be. So it's like, I'm a person that's, reality, reality is a trick. Your ability to perceive what's in front of you is only what you've created way back when. So what's happening right now, you thought about this, eons ago. You had an
Mhm.
idea, you said, I wanted to look like this, feel like this, be like this, and now you have a podcast. Great. So you sitting here trying to base your life off of what you're seeing right now, it's not
Mhm.
going to help you. I'm sorry. It's not going to help you going forward. And if you had a bad experience in the background, it's not going to help you right now.
Right.
So moms, my kid comes first. It's like, yeah, but if you're ill, sad, tired, gone, feeling gone how you want to fill it in, you
Mhm.
can't help them.
No.
And moms socially are inclined and told, good mothers fork over their entire lives
Yeah.
in
Put their kids first.
exchange
Put their
for their
spouse
kids.
first. Yeah.
And now we have adults who remember our mothers, breaking their backs and crying in dark corners and not crying and not getting help and staying in bad relationships and staying in bad jobs. And we're the product of that. And now we're like, wait, now we're trying to compare ourselves to these impossible that should not have even happened standards. So now we're questioning our motherhoodness and quality of mothering based on a reality that's not even real. It's so much and it goes so deep. But Fuel now is a ecosystem of experiences for women in the space of retreats, workshops, personal coaching with just me for now. I see this growing into a bigger thing with multiple coaches and numerous year-round events that caters to freeing women from their internal and their external limitations. So the ones that we create in ourselves, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do it this many times, and these things, make me who I am. And it's like, no. And then also the noise of the external limitations. You're not a good mom unless you do it
Right.
like this. It looks like that.
Yeah.
All of that. So giving them opportunities, whether that's through retreats, workshops, getting personal coaching if they have some specific, like, hey, I need to get a handle on this thing
Mhm.
specifically so that I can get from here to there and not waste any more years. So I suggest coaching for women who have been in a loop for a while and can look back on, I've been here 3 years now.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. Like if it's like a awareness, like, oh, wait a minute, I just realized, oh, wow, I've been doing this for the last couple months. You could probably get away with a retreat. You could probably get away with a workshop. You can probably get away with a course. But
Mhm.
if you can look back and be like, hey, my life has been here for more than 2 years. Now, that's 2 years that you've been here. Your child, if you have a child or children, they've watched you there for 2 years.
Mhm.
So now they haven't even had you at your fullest, best potential. So that's kind of the compound effect of kids are only kids for this amount of time. So it's not like 2 years is 2 years in kids' years because we only have like let's say 20 kid years,
Yeah.
So that 2 years, that's a big deal. It's
That's
not like
10%.
it's not 100%.
Yeah.
It's not spread out over 100 years. That
Mhm.
their childhood is very finite.
Right.
So it's a big impact. So I stress a lot about digging into it. I'm very straight, shoot straight kind of gal. It kind of rubs people like, ouch, gut punch. Oh man, that hurt, rock, hit dog kind of thing. But it's to get your attention because time is of the essence. Like your life isn't as long as you think you want it to be, and their
Yeah.
childhood is definitely not as long as it appears to be.
Yeah. Well, I think you almost start to create a cycle, right? When you stay in an unhealthy realm as a mom,
Mhm.
you don't model for your children what healthy parenthood looks like.
Mhm.
And so they pick up your unhealthy patterns and then they're repeated and they're repeated and they're repeated. And so what I've found, whether it's with other people, with myself,
Mhm.
is that in order to address that, hey, I've been here too many times. Like I've been in this exact spot every 3 to 6 months for the past 5 years. The courage to, number one, admit that to yourself.
It's big.
Number two, to be willing to take a step to change it. And number three, to ask someone for help. Like that takes a lot of courage. Because whether or not what feels normal is healthy, it still feels normal.
Mhm.
And you have to step out of what feels normal to something that feels really weird, even if it's so much healthier than where you've been.
Mhm.
And it's hard.
It is very hard. So I am big on neuroscience. So I follow a guy, Joe Dispenza. He's like my neuro bae.
I love
He
it.
breaks it down so well. And if you look him up, he pretty much healed himself through neuro stuff. It goes way deep, but basically, our bodies, the way that we act and the things that we do is like 90-10. So 90% of it is subconscious, 10% is actually us thinking about what we're doing. So that means 90% of the things that you're doing is on autopilot. Brushing your teeth, tying your shoes. There's no thought. There's nothing firing off in your brain that says, okay, take this one string, take this other string, flip it around. Like those little pieces do not exist. So we got 90%, 90-10. That's kids through elderly, 90-10. Now you multiply that 90% over years. So whatever this behavior that you've been doing, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, your body becomes one with that repeated process. It's ingrained in you. You can't even, to slow down enough to articulate, to explain to someone how to tie their shoes would be painful because it takes that level of slowing down and breaking down those intricate pieces. So this is normal to you. So if somebody came to you and said, hey, there's a new way to tie your shoe, and you're like, wait,
Like,
Now,
get out of
mind you,
here.
you've been tying your shoe this one way, and it's painful. It's painful. You hate it. It's just like, it's so annoying. But someone said, hey, I got a new way to tie your shoe. It's going to solve all of your problems that you've been had for 40 years. And you're like, I want that. I want to be able to tie my shoe easier. Here's this easy way. Your body is going to fight you. What do they call it? Tongue, tooth, and nail?
Yeah.
All day, because it's used to this particular way. No matter how painful it is, no matter how stupid it is, no matter how much wasted time, effort, energy, and you can fill that in with a relationship. You can fill that in with trying to lose weight or start reading. Anything you're doing that's counter to what your body has been programmed to do, no matter how much you think you want it, your body's going to say no. But this is what you trained me to do. You trained me to want to sit on the couch. You trained me to yell every time someone upsets us. You trained me to whatever the behavior is that you now want to change. You've trained your body to be comfortable, like you said, to be comfortable there. So anything you're trying to do outside of that training, your body's like, no. We don't do that. We don't do that. And when those things come, that's when those tools, that's when reaching out for help, that's when getting either counseling, therapists, coaches, does external things to start keeping you out of those loops, because your body's like, oh, wait, we have to come back. And it takes the strength of your mind to say, hey, yes, I know that's how you literally have to talk to yourself. And it used to be a thing. Talking to yourself is crazy. No, smart people, progressive people talk to themselves, because you have to tell your body that, hey, I'm in charge. You're not in charge anymore.
So I was doing some affirmation work, and it was a lot about how we talk to ourselves, how we talk to our subconscious, and our subconscious doesn't understand negative. Like, say you're somebody that doesn't like vegetables. I'm not going to leave my vegetables on the plate anymore. Like, I'm going to not push my vegetables to the side. Your subconscious doesn't know how to process that type of thinking. It's much easier for you to tell your subconscious, I love vegetables. As simple as that. I love vegetables. Because what I've found through reading and different things is that your subconscious, it's actually your inner child. And you got to talk to him, like she's a little girl. You got to address that part of you.
I am a healthy eater. And it's like, wait, what? Yes, I am a healthy eater. And it's like, all right, I guess. But why?
So this idea of healing yourself, I 100% believe in the power of the mind. And so I've been walking through some things lately. And do you believe that there is a difference between making a decision and making a determination?
It's so nuanced. I feel yes. I don't have the words to explain yes, but I feel yes. A decision, I feel, is along, if I am a graphic person, so I feel like a decision is just the next step in the progression of things, but it leaves space for deviations of some sort. Determination sounds so final. And for me, if I get new data, the determination is out the window. It's like, well, this new piece of data now opens up a different avenue of possibility. What do you think?
So what I've experienced is that when I make a determination, like, that's law and that's what happens. And anything that goes beyond that doesn't have a place anymore. And so, for example, I'm just trying to understand my brain better. So for years, I have wanted to be a 5 a.m. person. Like, I wanted to be that person that got up at 5 a.m., was in the office at 7 o'clock. And I want to sleep. Your girl likes to sleep. Like that get up at 5 a.m. has not been it for me.
Uh-huh.
But about 2 months ago, I'm like, this is it. This is it. I need to make this happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so I decided, okay, the first step was I was not going to make my coffee and sit down anymore, because that's where I got lost, was I would make the coffee and I would sit down.
Okay.
So I make the coffee. I drink the coffee standing up. And while I'm making the coffee, I make the breakfast.
Okay.
And then I've created a new routine.
Mm-hmm.
And now, and I'm in the office now for the past couple months at 7 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
I'm bringing the dog with me. And it's been beautiful. And I'm becoming this person that I've always wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
But it took a moment of, this is enough. These things are not in alignment with who I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I'm going to do to make it happen.
Yeah.
And so, why now is my question. Why now? Was it because instead of making a decision, did I make a determination? Was my body just ready for the change? Were my mind and my body and my spirit finally in alignment that this is who we need to be?
Uh-huh.
But I've been thinking about this and having this conversation with you, because I remember when I was at Mom K,
Mm-hmm.
like I was just stuck on making dinner. And it was like, girl, could you prep the meals ahead of time? Somebody else could make
It's like,
them.
no, I have to cook it with my hands.
Yes, I have to cook it.
It's like, do you want them to eat, or what's the real
I
thing?
mean, the selfish thing is I want to eat and I want to like what I'm eating. But, and we've worked through that.
Mm-hmm.
Even to last night where I was like, hey, like, I came home. No, I had taken food out, like, to cook. I looked at my husband like, I've been out of the house since 6:45. It is 6:30. I'm not cooking.
Mm-hmm.
Figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
He went to Publix and he got cherry Cokes, baked beans, and fried chicken. And I was like, you know what? I ate myself 3 pieces of fried chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
check.
And I was like, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
We ate.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was fine. And it was okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I've struggled so long with like this getting up early, being productive,
Mm-hmm.
because there are other things that I want to do, and not ending my workday until 6 o'clock is futile.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I can't get nothing done. I cook dinner, it's time to go to bed. But like, finally, after so long, was it because it was perfect alignment? Was it because I finally made the it was a determination that this is what I was going to do and this is who I was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Help me understand me, Dria. Why now? Because I need to repeat this in some other areas of my life. Or am I just built different?
Well, so I'm in this journey of, I swear I have ADHD, but it could just be because everybody else is telling me I have it. But I know that my brain works differently, and sometimes it's for me and sometimes it's against me. But knowing, I think the key for anyone trying to figure out how they do what they do, and instead of trying to make sense of it, just recognize what works and what does not work. When I do this, this happens. Am I satisfied when this happens? Not so much. When I do this, that happens. Do I like that? I could care less. It's done. There's no problem. It's only a problem when what you're doing and how you're doing it is not getting you the results that you want. So you not being a morning person, I would have asked you, say, how I want to be a morning person, and I can't seem to wake up on time. I would ask you, why do you want to be a morning person?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what attachment, what agreement have you determined in your mind that 5 o'clock people equal X, Y, and Z, and somehow you've attached yourself to this description, and so therefore you're trying to get your behaviors and actions in line with this persona. And I would have asked you, why are you so attached, to that persona? Why?
Mm-hmm.
What's over there that you want? And then you probably would have said, well, I'm noticing, these particular people who I look up to, they do it too. So I'm thinking there's something over here in that.
Mm-hmm.
Or, there's a lot of things I want to get done, and me waking up at 8 o'clock is not giving me enough time to get those things done. So it could have been something very practical, very inspirational, but just understanding why you want to do it, because you can't do it based on how it's working or how it looks. So I would ask you a lot of questions about, well, why do you want it? And, are you willing to do the things, one, decide, make a determination? Like, again, I think those are two the same, but one is like, no, we are not. Like, I decided to be a business person, and it's like, okay, you're a business person, great. I'm determined to be a excellent business person. It's like, I feel like it's a different level of like, once I get here, I can choose to do something different, or I can deviate from there, but we're not stopping until we get to this, milestone. But it's all about what you desire. And when I'm coaching someone, I try to remove those always and never places and those very hard rules, because you have to figure out what you've already told yourself and decide if what you've already told yourself is still valid now. And if not, removing all that stuff and making new agreements. So you, at some point, I would ask you now, what was your desire to be a 5 a.m. person?
To have more productive hours in my day.
Did you find like later in the day got away from you?
Yeah,
and it
like
wasn't yours?
if I'm getting home, if I'm not stopping work till 6:00, that at 6:00, the expectation is like, I'm on mom time. Like it's time to cook the dinner. It's time to check in with the kids. It's, all those things, right? And maybe sit down, read a book, for a little while before I go to bed. But the reality is whether I went to bed or whether I woke up at 5 or 8, come 9:00, it was time to
go down.
Yeah. And so it was like, okay, well, whether I'm up at 8 or 5, and I'm going to still be in my room, not productive at 9:00, because for me, it was all about productivity. Like, I need to get more in my day,
right?
With the hours that I have. And it was like, okay, well, I can't fix this here at the top. So that means I got to fix it back here. And if I'm saying that XYZ is a priority to me, then I've got to make the decision. So
was the sleep more important? And that's where it usually comes down to two things. Like, there is no wrong or right. Which one do you want more right now? And that changes even in seasons. So you're like, hey, I want to get more things accomplished. Yeah. And back here, it involves way more people and variables. I have children and dogs and husbands and other people. Right here, it's just me. So is it easier to control one person getting up or 5 people on the back end?
100%. It was that. and there were some benefits that came to that too, because, okay, there was an added layer of accountability. Gosh, I have to be honest with you. You're going to be like, yeah, that's really why you wanted to get up. It wasn't even you. It was them. My boys, they ride the high school bus to school.
Extra leverage and motivation.
But they were telling me, like, Mom, there are 3 of us to a seat. And if you've seen my boys, my 17-year-old is 6'1", 180. And my 16-year-old is 6'2", 270. Like, you try and put these kids 3 to a seat. They're like, Mom, my knees are breaking. And I was like, you know what? Like, I can do this. Like, how I can get up at 5. We can be out of the house by 6:30. I can drop them off at school. We got no broken knees. Because that's real, right? And then I can be at work at 7. And guess what? I can even take the dog too. And I'm gone before, I'm home. I'm gone before it matters. I'm home when it matters. But it was also taking a step and trusting my husband to get, right? There's so many layers to this, right? So many layers that I had to work through to be like, I can do this, but trusting that my husband would get up and get my son to work or to school. But also my husband drives Uber sometimes. And if he gets home at, 2, 3, 4 in the morning, me being okay with knowing that he got broken sleep. Even though he's okay with it, over and over, I don't need that much sleep. But me being okay with him not getting enough sleep, knowing that he had to take
You mean the other adult that has autonomy and, wherewithal to decide what's good for him?
Yeah. And so it was really letting go of, like,
All of the control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there's a step that you take people through.
Mm-hmm.
Explain to us what that set of questions are, because I hear it in my head and I see it visually, but they're not coming together.
You mean walking them through the thing that's keeping them stuck or attached
Like,
to
it's the
things?
questions. Can you it's like hopscotch. It's hopscotch for the brain. It's it was like can I do anything about it? Yes or no. And then the
Oh,
next one,
yes.
that one.
Oh,
I told you the
okay.
words and the
Yes.
visuals weren't coming together.
Okay, yes. So I created a visual for the retreat. I just made it up literally probably the day or two before. If it's my brain works very last minute like that. So I made it up and then I walked you guys through, I think, for the first time. And since then, it's been a part of my vending. I've made like a whole visual now.
I saw it. I love it.
Thank you. I got to figure out how to make it a legit thing, but it's so cool and people are very drawn to it. But it is a breakdown of making decisions of whether to accept something or to change it. But that middle ground of I wanna do this, but I can't. All of the hemming and hawing, and you're wasting time. You're wasting energy. You're wasting time and energy.
Mhm.
We don't have as much time as we think we do, and we don't get the time back.
Yeah.
You don't get time back. You can make more money. You can do a lot of things, but you cannot get time back. So I tried to cut that out. And the way that I did that was taking anything that you're complaining about, anything that you want to change or just you want better, complaint list. Write all the complaints down. And then I have used next to the complaint or the wish list why you want this preferred result.
Mhm.
So, hey, I want to lose 10 pounds. All right, why? Attaching that why is going to attach it to your inner psyche. It's the first attempt to attach it to your inner psyche. Of
Mhm.
why is this important to me and why does it matter to me?
Mhm.
So, little slight part. And then we walk through 3 questions of take this item, take this thing. Can you change it? I want to lose 10 pounds. Can you change that? Yes, you can. But if the answer to that question was, or if the question was, or the concern was, hey, I want to be 4 inches taller.
I was just gonna say, I hate that. I'm short.
I want to be 4 inches taller. Can you change that? No, you cannot change that. So accept it. So now you spend your energy on how do I learn to accept this thing? What are the advantages of it? What is the different perspectives I can have around this thing?
How do I walk in 6-inch heels?
Trying on new heels,
Yeah.
finding the positives of not being so tall. You don't have to worry about bumping your head on stuff. You don't have
Right.
to scrooch down. You know how awkward that looks, like scrooching down, like And you can create a whole dialogue in your head
Mhm.
against the thing that you cannot change until you become. It's like, oh, I
Yeah.
love this thing,
Yeah.
but accept it sooner than later because you're complaining. You're complaining to yourself. You're complaining to the people around you.
Right.
It's just a whole dark cloud around you. But if you can change it, great. Yes. Do you want to change it?
Yes.
Because just because you can doesn't mean you want to.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to, let it go. If you
Yeah.
don't want 6-pack abs, stop dragging yourself to the gym and eating foods you don't like,
Yeah.
trying to get something that you don't even want. If you don't want it, you don't want it, and that's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
You can't want what other people want for
You
you.
can't.
You
It
can't
doesn't
let that
work.
drive your
It
decisions.
cannot. It will kill you, like very, very slowly and painfully. But yeah. So can you change it, and do you want to change it? Now the skill part comes in. Do you know how to change it? So do you know what to do? Do you have the skills, the know-how, the resources to do anything about the thing that you can and want to change? And if you do know what to do that.
Yeah.
A lot of times we're like, oh, I want to lose weight. It's like, okay, I really want to lose weight. Okay. Well, are you doing the things that you know to lose weight? No, because, and now insert excuses
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
reasons and all of the stuff. If you know what to do it. Or if you know what to do and you just haven't done it, do that part. But if
Yeah.
you don't know what to do you know where to get that information? Can you
Yeah.
Google it? Do you know a person that does it? Can you reach out for help and ask someone to show you how to do it?
Yeah.
But that's the next level, like when you said admitting you have a problem, being honest with yourself, and then having the courage to reach out to say, hey, I'm trying to do
Yeah.
this thing I've never done before, don't know how to do, don't know where to start. Can you help me get started and help me flesh this thing out? But breaking it down, can you? Do you want to? And do you know how to?
I think that even applies to our businesses
Everything.
every day. Like, especially when you're as entrepreneurs, we can chase shiny things.
Yes.
And think that, oh, this next thing, that's really going to help us.
It's the thing. It's always the thing. The next thing is the thing.
Being able to walk through those steps and be like, okay,
can you do this right now?
Do I need this, or do I actually know how to do this? And all this is confirming that I know how to do this. And so, Drea, I know you recently made a big decision. You made a big determination. And for those of you that don't know, I know Drea outside of the Boss Too Hard podcast. And I know that you recently left your full-time corporate
big
role
girl job
as a business analyst.
Yes.
To go full-time in fuel.
Yes.
Why would you do such a crazy thing?
Because allegedly crazy people win.
It's not crazy. It's amazing. I did it. It worked out.
I'm just gonna be honest. I am doing things now that I get to write about honestly in my book that I will put out later. So I felt like if I just start creating the plot now, I'll have stuff to talk about later. No. Because, everybody, when I left my 6-figure job and then I slept in my car for 3 months and then, I'm creating a storyline. No.
We're not sleeping in cars here.
No, we're not sleeping in cars. We have houses. Thank God. Thank God for houses. But crazy, yes. Courageous, yes. Yeah. One and the same. All of the above. Last year, I was invited to a conference, Inc. 5000, surrounded by a bunch of people who allegedly started out where I was. Little ideas in their head, and they grew into these big, giant, very successful companies. And in that space, something clicked in me where it's like, I think I really want to take my business seriously. This is October last year, 2023. After that, I did like this. I do like a horoscope reading or stars reading. What do you call it? Natal chart reading or something to that degree. And this lady does not know me from anything. And she's just like telling me all about myself. And I'm like, lady, I don't know how you know any of these things. Very specific. Anyway, she forecasted like March, things are going to shift for you in this big way. And it's going to require you to rise to the occasion per se. And I'm like, all right, cool. January, my boss started acting real weird. I was like, come on, guy, don't do that. I have a not so good history with bad managers. We'll say that. Not so good managers. So it started getting weird. And then I started recognizing this job is not really what I want to do. It's not like, oh, I hate my job kind of thing. It's like, it is hard to do my job. Like, it doesn't fit. It's hard. And this is the thing that I've been doing for 20 years. I know like the back of my hand, and it's hard. Something's happening here. So little breadcrumbs started leading up into, I started seeing glimpses of, you should just go. And I was like, whoa, I can't go. Like, I haven't saved, I haven't done all the strategery things you're supposed to do. You're supposed to save 6 months, and you're supposed to start plotting and paying up all the bills, and you're supposed to be doing all these things. I did none of those things, but I kept getting this push and then confirmation. It would be like this shove kind of feeling, but then something in front of me to say, hey, it's going to be okay. I'm like, how? And at some point, I crossed over to this, like, if I kept doing this, and this is the believe it line, at some point I got over here and I was like, oh, shoot, I believe I can do this. And now it's just a matter of me trusting myself and trusting God. And I was like, oh, God, are you sure? Maybe, I'm not that well versed of listening to God. So maybe I am misinterpreting what is being told to me. So that was a whole thing. And then it got to a point, I told my mom, and I thought she was going to say, you're crazy. Because that's what people are supposed to say. You tell your family, you tell your friends, and they're like, hey, pipe down, little one. You make 100+ K. Sit down. That's easy. That's money. No, she was like, okay, let's do it. I was like, what? She's like, yeah, let's quit on Monday. I was like, wait, mommy, no, you're not supposed to tell me to quit. You're supposed to say, let's talk about this. Let's sit down. She did not. Told my boyfriend. He was like, yeah, so let's do it. Let's think about how we're going to do it, but hey, let's do it. Told a friend. Everybody was like, go quit. I'm like,
so here you are.
May 1st, turned in my letter of resignation. I walked out of the building. And I was like, also, that particular job was the first job I ever had. It was my first intern in college. So it was literally 20 years to the month of me being in corporate. It's like the synchronicities, the symbolism of it all. It was May 2004 when I had the got the internship there, and it was May 2024 when I left. 20 years exactly. And these last, 5 months have been the most, I love personal development, but this space is like this OJT, not in a book anywhere experience of developing my person, because I don't recognize my life. I'm used to a very certain level of things and surety and knowing where things are coming from, and none of that exists right now.
Yeah.
Okay. And I was like, did I make the right decision? But I'm enjoying it. And that's the weird part. It's like, my life is on fire.
I love it.
And I love it. It's just like, if these people stop calling me about bills, everything would be perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a journey. I made a post the other day. It's like, I cannot advise anyone to do what I'm doing right now, because I'm still figuring it out as I go. But everything else up until now, got you, boo. This right here, I have no clue, because I feel like I'm walking in the dark, but I'm like blindfolded, and somebody's like, just take one more step. Just take one more step. And each step that I take, something else is like, okay, a new puzzle piece is revealed. Oh yeah, that goes there. And it's like, okay, keep going. It's like, all right, but it's complete walk in darkness.
So
yeah,
the Boss Too Hard podcast was made for women just like you.
Yeah.
So you have a whole community, whole audience of women that want to support this new journey. Yes. So for everyone listening, if they want to work with you, what's that look like?
Well, first, you got to fit. So the ladies that I love working with are progressive women that know that they're called to do more, be more, have been more. Remember that part of them that they used to be this big, vibrant ball of life, and then life happened in a way that made them feel like they needed to shrink, to put certain things on the table. And now they're stuck. Now they're stuck between knowing that there's more, but not really sure how to bridge what life looks like and then what it perceive it can be. So if you wanted to work with me, that's the criteria. Feeling stuck in your current state of affairs of life. Book a call with me. Easy to reach me is a Fuel Experience. Was my website. Is this the part where I dropped websites and things?
Yes.
Or just say,
You can say my website. I'll put it. I'll put it in
my website. Link in the bio.
Yeah.
Doing all the finger things, but it's so weird. Me and social media. That's a whole nother podcast. But a Fuel Experience, and that is a Fuel FUEL Experience EXPERIENCE.com. There you will find all the events and workshops that are up to come, as well as a booking link to schedule a call with me, where we will figure out like, what is the thing, what is the wall, what is the agreement that you've made somewhere deep down in your psyche that is keeping you from having the life, or feeling like you are allowed to have the life that you want.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yay.
Well, Drea, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Yes.
Thank you all for tuning in to another episode of the Boss Too Hard podcast. Drea didn't mention, but I'm going to mention it. She's got Mom Cake coming up in a few weeks. We're going to drop the information for that below. You may not make the one in October, but these are held on a regular basis.
April.
You got to go. It is a weekend of shenanigans, to say the very least.
Yes, productive shenanigans.
Anyways, thank you all and have a wonderful week. We'll see you next one.